Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about Hedera Hashgraph HBAR, and we're going to be talking about how Hedera might be about to impact 117 million people over in the Philippines. Now, what this video is going to do is really showcase to you guys once again Hedera's superior nature when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. Out of all the distributed ledger technologies out there that could have been chosen to enable a digital Filipino peso, Hedera was the one. And they had previously tried to do this on Ethereum. And of course, Hedera has now sort of stolen that show, if you will, although they are still running operations on Ethereum. So you guys will know that Hedera is my largest position. It's probably one of my favorite, if not favorite, DLT. I think it has just so much unbelievably bullish potential that it's hard not to just admire this cryptocurrency in every single way. And we looked at the NVIDIA and Intel partnership. That's huge. NVIDIA, largest company in the world. Intel, also one of the largest companies in the world. Hedera directly working with them in regards to their chips. NVIDIA coming out and saying a lot of things in regards to new chips and AI, and I wonder if there's a Hedera element there. I'm sure potentially. We've also spoken about SpaceX. We've spoken about all the unbelievable things that Hedera is doing to really change the world, where the world is really coming to this space and saying, how can we leverage it to make our company more efficient? And by the way, go and check out what CLQ's stock has done, obviously on the back end of working with Hedera and what we're seeing with SpaceX. It's gone pretty crazy. It's a big deal. They're one of the largest at what they do. And of course, all of these institutions, and we're only talking about really 3 or 4 at the moment, are all choosing Hedera, but there are going to be hundreds. There already are hundreds working on hundreds of institutional grade partnerships already currently working on Hedera. Not many blockchains can say that. And today we're going to explore how some of the largest banks in the Philippines literally are looking to utilize Hedera to service 117 million people through their launching of a stablecoin, which is going to be coming this year, May, June, July, something like that. First of all, before we dive into anything, if you didn't see the video that I put out yesterday, Hedera was mentioned specifically on the German stock exchange in regards to its short-term price action. Quickly, let's just fly by some price action. The space is selling off. Boo-hoo. This is part and parcel with how it goes. Hedera did a 700% move. If you can't handle a little bit of a pullback after that, I'm sorry, you don't deserve Hedera. You don't deserve the HBAR token. And ultimately, we look at the markets through the lens of phase analysis. This is now phase 2. This is consolidation before continuation, guys. And how this plays out, we are looking at this sort of triangular pattern, very similar to XRP, that I ultimately think results in upside. What you should be doing is getting ready for the next 2, 3, 4x from Hedera. So to leave the price aside, let's get back to showcasing what an amazing distributed ledger Hedera truly is. And this is from the Digital Pound Foundation. Now, the Digital Pound Foundation have a lot of really big members on there. Lloyds Bank, Citi, EY, et cetera, et cetera. There's hundreds of partnerships that these guys have. Ultimately, some of the biggest names in finance. And they are showcasing here, Hedera, ladies and gentlemen, a group of leading Filipino banks, including Union Bank, which I think is the 5th or 6th largest, Rizal Commercial Banking, a little bit lower down, and Cantillan Bank, are set to launch PHPX, a multi-issuer peso stablecoin on Hedera blockchain network. It's not a blockchain, it's a DAG. We'll forgive them. This stablecoin aims to revolutionize cross-border payments, particularly remittances, by enabling faster real-time transactions beyond remittances. PHPX also has the potential to drive larger cross-border trade and domestic retail payments. If I was a government right now, ladies and gentlemen, I would be, certainly if my country wasn't doing too well, looking at this industry and saying, how can I use it to leverage my global position? If these distributed ledgers are going to play a role in the new global financial system, I would want to carve out a large piece of that going into this renaissance. Let's dive over to the article. Now, this is really interesting. It breaks down a number of things. We're going to read the whole thing. We'll be as quick as possible, guys. And then we'll conclude. But what this is another clear example of how impactful Hedera Hashgraph is going to be. And I actually don't think this is going to be one of the larger use cases for Hedera. 117 million people is pretty large, but this isn't going to be one of the largest. Hedera is going to, I reckon, in the future have billions of people using it. It's exciting, guys. So let's dive into this. A group of Filipino banks, let's zoom in a little bit so you can all read this along with me. A group of Filipino banks is preparing to introduce PHPX, a peso-backed multi-issuer stablecoin later this year, which will initially operate on the Hedera distributed ledger technology network. Amongst the banks participating are Union Bank of the Philippines, Rizal Commercial Banking, Cantillan Bank, and the Rural Bank of Guanabotan, definitely not saying that right, while the Singaporean-based Just Finance is driving the force behind the project. The banks themselves will have significant input into the stablecoin's governance structure. The primary goal of PHPX is to facilitate cross-border payments, particularly for remittances. However, the project's ambitions go beyond merely launching a stablecoin. It aims to create a platform for exchanging stablecoins into various currencies, addressing a growing need in the cross-border payment space. Union's bank blockchain experience fuels PHPX's launch. Union Bank, through its fintech subsidiaries, UBX, has been a pioneer in the blockchain adoption in the Philippines. The bank has long used blockchain technology to manage a token-based automated clearinghouse, ACH for short, that facilitates payments for rural and community banks not connected to the national retail payment system. This system, which has been in place since 2018, operates on a permissioned Ethereum-based platform using a token called PHX, distinct from PHPX. UBX's CEO, John, expressed the need for a publicly exchangeable stablecoin that could extend beyond their close-looped payment system. This desire for broader applications was one of the key reasons why Just Finance proposal for PHPX found traction with UBX. Tracking remittances and cross-border payments, the Philippines is one of the largest recipients of remittances globally, with the World Bank estimating that the country receives over $40 billion in remittances in 2024, constituting approximately 10% of its GDP. This highlights the immense potential for stablecoin adoption in the remittance payment, which PHPX aims to address. Hedera aims to address, ladies and gentlemen. An individual pointed out that the traditional payment methods have failed to keep pace with modern commerce, making it difficult for workers abroad to manage their finances in real time. He envisions PHPX enabling workers in countries like the United States to make direct payments such as school tuition and beneficiaries back home in the Philippines. PHPX also could expand the scope of remittances, allowing overseas Filipinos to invest in insurance products or wealth management options, offering greater control over their funds. Very interesting. We're going to see the tokenization of money market funds, guys, and debt instruments. Hedera is already doing that. Efficiency integration for consumers. The PHPX stablecoin will largely function behind the scenes, allowing consumers to send funds as they would through a conventional payment system. For example, sending $500 from abroad would trigger an automated exchange for PHPX or another stablecoin, which can then be deposited into a bank account, a Gcash wallet, or collected at an over-the-counter location. While access to PHPX for consumers is the potential future development, regulatory approval will be required before such an option is available. Multi-currency stablecoin exchange for cross-border transactions. A key component of PHPX's design is the creation of a multi-currency stablecoin exchange. The system will support the swapping of PHPX with other foreign currency stablecoins such as USD, SGD, and the Japanese yen. Enabling smoother cross-border transactions, liquidity providers will play an essential role in this process. And while banks are expected to initially fulfill this role, the market could open up to a qualified investor as the system becomes more decentralized. Very interesting. We're moving on to a new economy, guys. Ensuring compliance and security. The stability and security of PHPX are the top priorities for Just Finance. In the event that a participant bank experiences financial difficulties, the stablecoin's reserves will be kept in a segregated trust account, holding primarily government bonds with a small cash balance for short-term settlements. These accounts are ring-fenced from the bank's general liabilities, ensuring PHBX remains bankrupt remote, providing no fraud occurs. Another regulatory consideration in compliance with the Basel Committee's rules for crypto assets to avoid expensive capital requirements for banks involved, the PHPX stablecoin will operate on the permissionless DLT. On a permissionless DLT, of course, Hedera, meeting the Basel Committee's criteria for stablecoin classification as low risk. Hedera's DLT was chosen for its alignment with the regulatory standards. Furthermore, PHPX will be designed to meet the requirements set by the Banco Central NG Filipinas, which includes compliance for European MiCA regulations or their regional equivalent. Advances over traditional banking payments. Stablecoins offer a significant advantage over the traditional banking payments by eliminating the need for interbank settlements. In the Philippines, the National Retail Payment System imposes a limit of $1,000 on transactions to manage settlement risk. While the National Retail Payment System payments are credited to recipients almost instantly, they do not settle in real time. In contrast, blockchain systems like PHPX allow for faster clearing and settlement, streamlining the process and improving efficiency. That's why this technology is going to get adopted, guys, because it fundamentally makes a difference. Looking towards the future, PHPX stablecoin is currently awaiting approval from the central bank, Banco Central NG Filipinas, with a potential launch window between May and July this year, 2025. While remittances are the immediate focus, Just Finance's David Andreas highlights that PHPX could also be used for larger cross-border trade transactions and potentially in domestic retail payments at point of sale in the future. However, this expansion will only occur under the supervision of the regulators. So we're talking about global trade happening on Hedera here, guys, potentially in the future. The launch of PHPX represents an exciting step forward in the Philippines' digital finance landscape, promising to revolutionize the way Filipinos abroad send money home, while also opening the door for broader use cases in global trade and domestic payments. As projects unfold, its success will depend on regulatory approval, the establishment of a robust liquidity framework, and consumer adoption. Wow. So what we have and what we've showcased today, and we do this day in, day out, is another amazing use case for Hedera Hashgraph. And ultimately, this is just one of many, guys. And these are going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming at you aggressively. And it only takes for one of these to gain real traction. For example, to be adopted by a central bank or multiple central banks, or to become a standard. And Hedera's one. And that's the journey we're all here from. From a price point of view, okay, it's choppy. I don't think you've got anything to worry about there. Fundamentally, this distributed ledger is a monster. And I'm glad to be on this journey with each and every one of you. That's it from me. We've showcased in this video how Hedera is potentially going to solve an issue for 117 million Filipinos. Remember, this is one use case of hundreds. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. See you soon.